Hello, everyone. This is the East Coast Economic Update for July the 7th, 2010. There's a couple of things I'd like to point out to you and then give you a heads up about my trip up to the cabin this coming week. Let me go to the news. First off, of course, Barack Obama's administration has brought a lawsuit against Arizona in regard to their new law about anti-immigration status. Now, this is going to be very important to watch. This obviously falls under the 10th Amendment. When we have less lesser laws that states hold that are not superseded by the federal government. For example, dry laws. Certain counties have laws against having alcohol in their county. Even though prohibition, the amendment to prohibition was reversed in the late 1920s, just in time for the Great Depression, there are still states and counties that have dry laws and blue laws. Allowing people to close on, being forced to have shops closed on Sundays. These fall under the 10th Amendment. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, obviously there's a precedent of laws that states and counties enforce that are not consistent with federal law. Now, there are federal laws with the immigration status to protect American citizens from having illegal aliens coming in. This is something you have to watch because this is an aspect of Barack Obama's administration trying to consolidate his power into one location, and that's the White House. So, if you can, I would call both the state senators, Senator McCain being one of them, who is he's for this law being enforced in the state of Arizona. He better, because otherwise these people are going to take him down. But I would call the senators and congressmen of that area and tell them that us in other states and inside the state of Arizona support this law and support them because that will maybe the backup plan. Because if this goes before the Supreme Court, who knows? I think that the state of Arizona will lose before the Supreme Court. So this is where they're aiming for. They're starting in the federal appellate courts, and probably the law will be rifled through to the Supreme Court for its decision of whether it's unconstitutional or not. So something to keep an eye on. I would support this right now because this is keeping our culture and keeping the law enforced when the federal government can't do it. So another issue is, very interestingly, even though the markets are up today, there is technical analysis that's showing from the software system that the Dow Jones and other investor groups use, showing a massive market crash is coming, I believe, in the next 90 days. So the web bots are on par here if this happens, and even the technical software analysis software is even saying that we're looking at a big drop and crash coming again, or as they refer to as a double dip of recession. Finally, I have two other articles, both of them involving the unemployment rate. Now, of course, we know last Friday the unemployment rate dropped from 9.5%, and at the same time, within 2 or 3 days before, or 4 days before those numbers came out, 1.3 to 3.1 million people lost their unemployment benefits. Now, the interesting thing is what they don't show you, even I had to go to Shadow Stats, you can see that the U6 number, the discouraged worker group, has risen, even though the U3 number has dropped a little. So we're right now, based on the old way of doing it, the way that was set up during the FDR administration, we're around 25% unemployment. And we're not looking, the rule, I keep repeating this because it's worth repeating. You're not going to have a recovery until the people have jobs, and they have workable jobs where they're making enough money that even if there are two family members working under one roof, One of them is saving the money, and the other one is using their income to, to buy necessities for their family. But unless you have people working and an unemployment rate below 5%, you do not have recovery. The recession has not ended. I'm sorry. I'm not an economist. I don't have a degree in economics. I do have a degree in civil contract and social contract law, and philosophical law, philosophical arguments in regard to civil society. The people have to be employed for the government and for everything else to work. This is not a recession. This depression will continue to go on, and from my guesstimation, based on Rubini and a few other people, you have a we're not going to see zero, a flatline number and a turn up until probably 2017 or 2020, when the gap between the baby boomers and the Generation Y people, the millennials, start to get into their middle, their 30s. Until that time, you're going to have a very, very small number of people, the Generation Xers, to the beginning of the millennials, supporting a huge baby boomer retrenchment in retirement. I mean, the average age is somewhere between 68 and 52 or 50. That huge group, the 50 to 55 range, can't find a job and won't find a job. So let's just say goodbye to that by the time I correct it. And the rest of them are retiring, or even worse, they're working in the jobs that they had, and they're not retiring because and that's causing the unemployment rise to anyway. But it's very interesting that the administration, the Obama administration, is more concerned about usurping a state's right to defend itself and protect itself than it is about jobs. They talk about jobs, but they're not getting people jobs. I mean, I'm far from being a socialist, but FDR did a better job just trying to get people, putting people in a ditch and digging a ditch and filling it in. At least people had something to do. This is what causes revolutions, and I'm not trying to dissuade a revolution, because there should be one. There should be an overturn of these people, and the people that we're going to put in this economy, put into the White House and into the Congress and Senate, are going to have to stop trying to protect the big companies and try to get people to work. The only way, and the reason why FDR was making sure somebody was doing something in the National Recovery Association, was because he had two major fears the FDR administration was concerned about: fascism and communism. And those two items kept FDR on his toes. This administration is not unlike the French Revolution. All we need is Michelle Obama to say that we should be eating Wonder Bread instead of cake, and that'll be the last step. So just want to let you guys look at these articles. And I keep saying this over and over again. The people have to be at work for recovery to be in. There is no recovery. There is no recovery. You have a large, dissuaded, discouraged worker population, and it's growing, and they're idle. And this time they're highly educated, and they're young and fairly strong. This is hot for a change, a revolutionary change. So I just want to finish up by just saying I'm heading up to the cabin. I'm getting a charger for my camera so I can do some videos, and we'll be there for approximately 10 days. I also got the okay from the doctor to start running again. Oh yeah, and going to the gym. Of course, he gave me some restrictions, but I want to thank everybody who's been praying for me, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been your prayers that has strengthened me, and your emails and comments and comments left on my profile. You guys are fabulous. I just want to let you know that when I came out of the hospital, I had over 400 emails from complete strangers who I've never met before that wished me well. Thanks.